Hi, everybody. I'm back with another episode of the Career Coach RX podcast. And this month, we are bringing you a great group of African-American professionals and entrepreneurs. We're talking about all kinds of topics that affect the African-American community in celebration of Black History Month and building up to our 2024 Black Health Summit that will be held on February 24th from 10 o'clock to 12:30. And today I am so excited to introduce my guest, Latonyia Sumpter. She is the founder of Integrated Wellness and a yoga teacher. We're going to be talking about wellness in our community today. We're going to be talking about mindfulness and yoga. And since this is a career coach podcast and we talk about what inspired you to start your journey, that's how I want to start the conversation, Latonyia. Now, if this face looks familiar to you, Latonyia was one of the guests on our virtual vision board party that we hosted in January. That was like my very first event, and it inspired both of us to continue to do and host events throughout the year. And so I am so inspired and so motivated. I was so motivated and inspired at the virtual vision board party, which we're going to circle back and talk about how you're doing with that vision board this year. But I want to share, I'm so excited to share this platform with Latonyia this morning. So let me hand this over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What inspired you to be on your current journey?
So I am Latonyia, of course. I am the founder of Empowered Wellbeing. We are an integrative holistic wellness brand that really focuses on helping women grow, heal, and flourish. And I'm just going to get right into it. Empowered Wellbeing was honestly birthed during a season of me struggling through my own depression. I've been on my personal healing journey since about 2018. And within that, things were going good, right? I'm still kind of like peeling back the layers of my onion, but then I fell into a depression. And I'm like, oh God, well, what is this? And one day something just says, go to yoga. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym on yoga. Okay, I'm gonna do it. And that led to me going and building. And then all of a sudden, I knew that I would eventually, at some point, just the knowing that I would be helping women really grow, heal, and flourish to really overcome a lot of their inner child traumas and be able to help them kind of identify them. But I realized that, oh, well, maybe I should add this modality to my brand in my business space as I'm building this. So I went and got my certifications. I got the 200-hour, and then I just recently completed my 300-hour, which is a more professional level, right, of the yoga space. And it was just so impactful with my life in regards to that season of depression that I was really going through. And I really feel like it was identities, right? It was like, wait a minute, who am I becoming? And I just remember just thinking like it was like a dark cloud that was over me. And when I connected to that yoga, I just remember it just started transforming me like mind, body, and soul. So it's been my own personal healing journey and overcoming a lot of my own inner struggles and things from childhood that led me to this current space and where I am growing and building empowered well-being.
But that is so excited to hear. So let me just ask you this question. Had you already, been in the wellness space, like with your business, or did you start your business as a result of you pursuing?
It started from my own personal journey. Like I said, I knew that at some point I would be coaching women, but I never really thought that I would be from a wellness space. I've always personally liked trying different wellness things. I've always been that person that would just kind of try different things, but it was my own personal journey that has led to the birth of empowered well-being in my healing space. So yeah.
Now we got a lot to talk about because you just launched your first wellness event, and we kind of did some behind the scenes talking. So what are the things that I want you guys to know? Because I want to talk a little bit about just our communities first and just health and wellness in general, right? But I want to say this up front about the journey of entrepreneurship. And do you still work full time and balance your business?
Yeah.
So if you're listening in and you're talking about, the career piece of this in terms of, looking for that motivation. Hey, as entrepreneurs, there are starts and stops to this journey. There's different levels of what influenced us or what inspired us. I mean, and I'll talk a little bit later about, like what inspired me to jump and do the health summit, because that's not necessarily my lane for the business that I'm running, right? What's happening with that. But, when we talk about our communities, right, specifically, I want to give you a few statistics. Studies show that Black Americans are 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems than the general population. And Black individuals are less likely to seek mental health treatment. And so for you to start off this conversation is and just saying like, hey, I'm acknowledging like this was happening to me. I was going through a period of depression, which we all at some point have experienced some tough roads, right? I've done that where, and people like, well, I didn't even know nothing was wrong with you. Of course you didn't, right? Because we're keeping up this facade. Did you experience that before you even acknowledge, what you experienced? Were you of the keeping up with the facade? I'm just now, as I do podcasts and events, talking about, my experience. So what was that, what was those feelings like when you had to keep that bottled up inside of you? And then how freeing was it for you to make that transition?
So I will be honest, it was something we talked about yesterday, is that we live in a society where things have to be perfect. And if you don't show up perfect, then something is wrong with you. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just a season that somebody is going through. But then I also find what happens is that when you're trying to put on the facade to show up perfect, a lot of times it's because sometimes you don't have the support that you think you really have. The only people that really knew that I was going through that depressional season was a few of my close friends. And I'm talking about like maybe one or two people probably really, really knew. And I just remember like it was some days, all I really could do was just get out of bed to work. That was literally all I could do. That was the only capacity that I had. And it just got to a point where I'm like, okay, something has to give, and something, I cannot stay in this space. And again, I say it was just one day, like, go to the gym, go to yoga. Go do yoga. And I did it. And that's when I started seeing the changes. But I agree that I feel like it's society. And if we show up anything different than what society deems as normal, then it's a problem.